Hey, what's up? How'd your team do this weekend? Did they win a title? Cause mine did. No, not Montreal. God, no, they're terrible, actually. But hey guys, before we get started talking football, if anyone's interested in buying some Rabona TV merch, like the sweater I'm wearing, then I'm happy to say that I have set up a Spreadshirt site for you, and the link is in the description below. So, I've added a few designs on there to choose from, but if you want my logo on other pieces of clothing, mugs, bags, dog jumpers, whatever, then just click on the Create tab and you can have some fun there. Resize it, reposition it, whatever. Try to make it as cheap as possible for you guys, so if you're interested in that, be sure to click through. The link is in the description, like I said. But enough of that. Let's talk football. That's what we're all here for, right? Because there was a lot of titles dished out. If we're talking Eredivisie, see what I did there? And there was other titles that were almost clinched in other places. So let's get to it. Let's start out by honoring the champions of the Premier League, Chelsea, who have pretty much been a sure thing since October, November-ish. We gotta remember that things didn't start out too smoothly for Conte, and actually at the beginning of the season, City were looking like the #1 picks for the #1 spot. And I think Chelsea were even 10 points behind them at one point. But then Conte switched from that other formation that just was not working for them to the 3-4-3, utilizing Moses as a sort of wingback, the often ridiculed Moses, I might say, and in turn making himself look like a genius. So even though Tottenham chased them hard, and at times chased them hard enough to cut that lead down to 4 points, Conte and Chelsea went on to lift the Premier League trophy, and Conte himself was the 4th Italian manager to do so, behind Ancelotti, Mancini, and Ranieri. And still no English managers have won it. And they're doing it in style, as it looks like they could break their Premier League wins record if they beat Sunderland this weekend. Also in Chelsea's match today, well, yesterday, I mean. That goal, then colossal f*** up from John Terry, was basically a metaphor for his career. I'm amazing! Oh, and then I get caught in an affair with my teammate's wife and I look like a sleazy bastard. People are starting to like me again and at least respecting my footballing ability. Oh, but then I get caught using some racist, naughty language. I scored a goal in one of my last matches playing as a Chelsea player at Stamford Bridge, and then I gift the other team a goal immediately after. But anyways, congrats to Chelsea, and kudos to Spurs, who chased them pretty hard throughout the season, and in their final match at White Hart Lane, managed a 2-1 win against Manchester United. Now this is interesting because the first ever match at White Hart Lane in the English First Division was between Tottenham and Manchester United, and by getting that win, they ensured that they ended their season unbeaten at home. Woo! Love it. And that loss for United has some very negative ramifications, as they are mathematically out of the top 4. So, the only way they can get the Champions League for next season is if they win the Europa League. No wonder Mourinho walked out of that interview.
I don't want to think about it in this moment. I want to think about the final I have to play.
Just say before you go.
Also, with City winning against Leicester 2-1, they have ensured that they will finish above United for the 4th consecutive season. But it's not all fine and dandy for Pep. Oh no, for the first time in his managerial career, gonna practice that one later, he didn't finish in the top 2. And now to Holland, where the title decision came down to the very last day, with Feyenoord on 79 points and Ajax on 78 going into it. And unfortunately for Ajax, who was on their game with their Eredivisie record-breaking youngest squad ever at 20 years and 139 days average age, not collectively, that would be crazy. Feyenoord was on their game as well, namely Dirk Kuyt. Feyenoord defeated Heracles 3-1 at home to lift the title thanks to Dirk Kuyt's hat-trick. He became just the 3rd player in Feyenoord's history to score 100 goals in the Eredivisie. Kuyt was also the 2nd oldest goal scorer in the Eredivisie history, behind none other than the late Johan Cruyff. And Feyenoord won their first title since 1999. I just hope that Feyenoord can keep this good form, that it wasn't just a fluke season for Van Bronckhorst, and that they can continue to keep Ajax and PSV honest. For Ajax, they'll take solace in the fact that they have pushed Feyenoord all the way to the end with such a young squad, and that squad was good enough to make it to a Europa League final. And maybe even win a Europa League final. In Spain, both Real Madrid and Barcelona managed to get a win, with Ronaldo bagging another brace. So it's as we were at the top of the table, and Real Madrid became the first team ever in the top 5 leagues to score in 62 consecutive matches. We're talking all competitions, man. Now, the league isn't decided yet, but you get the feeling with the form that Real Madrid is in currently, both their A team and their B team, honestly, it just feels like they're going to see this one out. Especially with Ronaldo becoming such a threat inside the box. He managed to surpass Jimmy Greaves as the all-time top scorer in league play in the top 5 leagues. In France, Monaco managed to hit the 100-goal mark, just the 3rd team to do it across Europe's top 5 competitions, behind Barcelona and Real Madrid. And they did this in their win against Lille. And with that win against Lille, Monaco goes into their final home game of the season tomorrow against Saint Etienne, just having to avoid defeat, and that title's theirs, man. That'll be their first title win since 2000, a 17-year time period in which they've been relegated, promoted again, and made the semi-finals of the Champions League with perhaps one of the most exciting young-ish teams. And this will also put an end to PSG's 4-year winning streak of the Ligue 1 title. So watch out for that on Wednesday. Speaking of 4-year winning streaks, Benfica wrapped up the Portuguese Liga title as they crushed Vitoria Guimaraes at home 5-0. Easy! As a Benfica fan, I gotta be honest, I thought that this year was gonna be the year that FC Porto closed the gap again, and maybe even took their place as the strongest team in Portugal again, but no! They were chokers. When we messed up, they messed up. When we won, they would draw. That kind of thing. But it's looking like we could end the season with as much as a 5-point lead at the top. That's comfy. I'll take that, considering we were level at times this season, we were 1 point ahead at times this season. It was feeling pretty close and like it was going to go down to the wire. So I'll take 5 points, if we get that. I'll take 2 points. I don't even care at this point. And it's crazy to think that just 5 years ago, with their 27 titles, it was looking like FC Porto was going to close in on Benfica's 32? 33, 34, 35, 36. Yeah, 32. And now we've started to run away from them again. Oh yeah, and as someone who didn't grow up in Europe, can someone please explain to me what this Eurovision stuff is? I mean, I know what it is, but why is it such a big deal? Because apparently, on Saturday, 200,000 people were in the downtown Lisbon area celebrating the Benfica title when everyone stopped just so they can watch Portugal's entry in the Eurovision contest. I don't get it. I would be a little annoyed. Like, is this really worth stopping the TETRA celebrations? I don't think so. And that is it for this episode. I hope that you enjoyed this one. Grab a sweater or a t-shirt if you feel like it, but you don't have to. Only if you've got the money and you want to spend it on this. Or a mug, or a dog sweater, or a tote bag. Anything. You can make anything on that website. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Adrian. This is Rabona TV, and I'll see you in the next video, which is going to be a player profile this weekend. Peace.